Ma, what's happening, Ma? What is new? It is cold as frig here in Michigan. I think it's 8 degrees or colder. Let us see. Oh, I gotta mute this anyway. Ooh, 5 degrees. Heat wave. Supposed to get like 7 to 11 inches of snow by tomorrow. Yeah, we've already got a metric F ton of snow, and we're going to get more. All right. Move my water jug down to the lower level. There we go. 40. Yesterday's ice storm was a dud, huh? Mohawk. What's happening, Todd? Dino. Welcome, my New Zealander friend, my Kiwi friend. Actually, it's good afternoon. Good day. Danster, what's happening? You have a few minutes, you suppose. Okay. Hey, Teflon Don, what's happening? Cool. I got some. Finally got some great people in here. Always appreciated. Ah, hey, Max. Hmm. So it's extra cold here in the great state of Michigan. I usually keep all my cat's here. I'm petting him right now. Uh it I usually I find soda on sale and I'll buy a bunch of it. And usually I keep it in the foyer between my house and my garage. Well, it's been so cold that cans of pop have been freezing and exploding. And I already had like, I don't know, yesterday, like 7 cans uh, that I ended up dumping out, having to thaw out and dump out. And so today I noticed like 5 or 6 more have one I caught, it hadn't bloated out, but it was froze solid. So that one I brought in the house and it's thawing out, but other ones have already popped and exploded and made a slushy mess. So I ended up taking uh all the remaining pop and put it down to the basement where it's warm. So that way we'll keep it from freezing. Foyer is the entry hall. Breezeway is in between the house and the garage. All right, fine. So it's my breezeway. Foyer sounds more interesting. Mother Nature does not like pop. Oh, look who's on camera. It's the catster. Why aliens not visiting Earth? How do you know they're not here? Ever thought of that? In a tactical uniform. Ah. I can always call your living room a parlor. That's right. And I can call my couch a Davenport and my footstool an ottoman. Is alien male or female? Sure. The catster. Say hi, everyone. Say hi, Miles. His cat Diesel's running right now. In black suits. Oh, there you go. Book 'em, Dano. And the front porch is a stoop. That's right. Well, thanks, Scott. How old is the cat? Ooh, I'd say he's 4. Trying to think. Yeah, he's like 4 or 5. Very rarely does my cat meow. It's one of those things where, like, if he does, it's like, whoa, he just meowed. Very rarely does he. He does he does now more than he used to. At one time I thought he didn't I thought he was a mute at one time, seriously. He never meowed. He's he's a stoop is top step when using it as a seat. Yep. You have 3 moms and 3 dads for cats, or you have 3 sets of parents. Yes. Freehold McDonald? Oh, you timed out old Mac? Wow. Well, untime out him. What did old Mac do to you? Ah, I see. I didn't realize that I had the power to undo. I understand now what you were trying to say. Ah, ma. FE engine cats are cool? No, 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 no. Cats don't have FE engines. All cats have cat diesel engines. Makes sense, doesn't it? Cat diesel power. 3 sets of parents because my first parents left me when I was a newborn baby. Ouch. Sorry, Faith. Wish cats are good. I mean, all cats can be good and all cats can be naughty when they want to be. So you're throwing cats at them for power. FE engine Mercury Cougars. No, Mercury Cougars are, middle-aged ladies that have a taste for young guys. Sounds like a lot of presents at Christmas. Who said I didn't like dogs? I have a dog too. There's the catster and the dogster. Had many dogs. I even have a pet rat. I mean, yeah, I've had pet fish. I've had all sorts of stuff. Love me a cougar. Most guys your age do. Cougars for me are just, yeah. I'm in my late 40s, so yeah. Unfortunately, ladies my age are now doing the cougaring. I used to have a fish that we named him Grover, and Grover would dance whenever we'd come up to the fish tank. He would swim up to the front of the fish tank and he'd do this. He'd move back and forth. He was happy to see us, so we nicknamed him Groovin' Grover, and that was pretty cool. People didn't believe me either. I'm like, I got a fish that dances, and they're like, fish don't dance. I go, well, then what do you explain this? And then we'd walk over to the fish tank, and Grover would swim up to the front and do his little dance. I said, see, Groovin' Grover. True story. Cat safety video. Shake hands with danger. Dun, 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 dun. Ginger, hi, welcome. You have guppies, which are a headache because they're always angry. How do guppies get angry? I've had guppies in the past. I've had guppies, I've had plecos, I've had. Never had any real exotic fish. When I was a kid, my parents had a fish tank, and we had fancy tail goldfish and guppies. The fancy tail goldfish were pretty cool, but I think if I was going to do a fish tank again, I want to go get a perch. I think the regular old perch are just beautiful fish, and I just want a whole tank full of perch. Just the black and the gold that they are, I think they're just beautiful. I also can't imagine how guppies are angry too. Give them a few piranhas to swim with and correct their attitude. All right, here's a good one for you. So many years ago, I'm ice fishing with some friends, and a friend of ours invited us over to their place. And because where public access on this certain lake is, it's like 3/4 of a mile away from where the good fishing is. So unless you got a snowmobile or a quad, you're not getting across. You're not just dragging your gear across the lake. So our friends let us stop, park at their house, come in through the house, walk into the basement, and then go out the basement door out to the lake, right straight to where the good fishing is. And then so we get there, and we thank them, and they said, hey, when you guys are hungry, come on in. We got chili going and all sorts of stuff. So, when you guys need lunch or whatever, we got you covered, which is awesome, right? So we're fishing, we're attempting to fish. We're not doing so good. Now I haven't caught anything. And finally, all of us say, we're just going to go in and have some lunch. And my friend's like, I feel lucky, dang it. I'm going to catch a fish. I'm not leaving until I catch a fish. We're like, suit yourself. We're going in for lunch. So we walk into our friend's house for lunch, and they've got a beautiful home, lakefront, and we're sitting up in the kitchen overlooking the lake. It's right by the deck. We could see our shanty, and all of a sudden, my friend's got his hands like this, and he's running for all he's worth across the lake. And the way he's holding his hands, we thought he skewered himself with his pocket knife or a fish hook or something. So we quick run downstairs and we open the door, and he blitzes in and he goes, "I need some water now. I need some water now." And we're like, "How bad is it?" We think he's hurt. And he opens his hand, and in his hand was a pike, and he was only like an inch and a half or 2 inches long. It was somehow he caught him, and so we put him in a cup of water, and he was fine, and he ended up taking him home that day, and then he put that in his fish tank, and they're relative to their environment, so they're only going to get so big. And he grew, when he was finally done growing in that, it was an okay sized fish tank, but he only got to be like 18 inches or 14 inches. But all the other fish that were in that tank, wherever the pike was, all the other fish were on the opposite side of the tank, and he'd swim around and they'd all make sure to be on the opposite side of the tank the whole time. Yeah. Am I a vegetarian? Absolutely not. If God didn't intend for us to eat animals, why did he make them out of meat? You are a full-time babysitter now. Nice, Faith. There's good money in that. It's trying sometimes, but professional babysitting pays well. Mexican Spec says, years ago, a buddy of mine had lots of illegal animals. He had 6 piranha. He forgot to feed them one night, and then he had 5. They're an ugly fish. Yeah, a couple days ago, I made $150. Woo! All right. Hey, Faith, float me alone, will you? No, just kidding. Yeah, I don't find the piranha to be that attractive of a fish. Oh, I'm sorry, you weren't saying offspring. Dino. Remember, at all times, Dino is in the future. Where here it's a little after 8 o'clock in the evening. It's like 1 p.m. or something like that in New Zealand. So it's already tomorrow. One more question. Oh boy, I can only imagine what it's going to be. One old boy who was a serious fisherman. He had as a matter of fact, my boss was telling me about him. Um, he was saying that he had a fish tank in his house with just regular fish that he caught out of the lake. Why cats have an attitude? I can't explain that. I can't explain that. Cats are just smart asses. Well, remember this: cats don't have owners, cats have support staff. My cats don't have attitudes, they wouldn't dare. Great coils look like Bob Todd does say a lot for the English. Cats are idiots. I have a tug of war with Dean when I try pulling my dandelions by the roots. Not mine, it's mine, it's mine. As a matter of fact, pulling dandelions isn't that bad. It's those little maple tree sprouts that even just a little devil, those things, if you get one that's got like a 3/8 stalk or better, holy crap. You can't hardly pull them. Oh, Minnesota. Yeah. Dandelions. you know, uh there's like 3 or 4 different ways that you can fix dandelions. They're edible. You can make a dandelion green salad. You can make dandelion wine. You can take the actual yellow dandelion flowers and leave just a little bit of a stem as a grab handle and put them in beer batter and then cook them up in a skillet and eat them. They're actually pretty good. So everyone's like, oh, all those dandelions, they just look unsightly in my yard. Am I a vegetarian? No, I already told you I'm not a vegetarian, but I'll eat vegetables right next to my meat. I mean, there's a place in this world for all of God's creatures, right next to the mashed potatoes. Only 3 hours from the riots. Well, that's 3 hours the right way away from it all. Takes a big lady to admit they're wrong, Colleen. Good job. No, I'm not a vegetarian. But, I mean, there are some things that are good. Don't eat meat all the time. Dandelions. You'd be surprised what you can, how well you could eat foraging out in the woods. Um, catch a few wild fish. You could find wild mushrooms that are actually edible that won't kill you or make you take a trip and never leave the farm. And as long as you know what you're getting, I mean, you can eat very well out of just foraging out of the woods. Turbsky come. What's happening, Tom? How are things in Ohio? I'm sure they're bitter cold just like they are here in Michigan. You can make soda, pine soda, out of the long evergreen pine needles. The real long ones, not the little short ones, the big long ones that are like 4 or 5 inches long. Get a handful of them, about that much. Cut the dead ends off of it, and then put them in a quart mason jar with a lid and a ring, and do like 4 heaping spoonfuls of sugar in that, and then fill it right up to the top with water, and then cap it off. It has to be full to the top of water. Cap it off and let it sit for 3 or 4 days, and it'll start to, the sugars from the pine needles, it'll start to actually, the sugar and then the pine needles will actually start to ferment a little bit, and it's really good. Pine soda is really good, and it's pretty refreshing, and it's slightly fizzy because it makes its own carbonation. And yeah, no BS. It actually works. Yep, pine needles, sugar, water, Sprite. Yeah, I've heard some old people call it Sprite. But the Sprite, like you get at the store from Coca-Cola product, that's actually a lemon lime soda. Yeah, Sprite. See, I don't like using that name because everyone thinks lemon lime drink. Sprite. Shroom mushrooms can you find in the woods? Yes. But Braden, I will give you a huge word of warning. There are three types of mushrooms out in the woods. There's food mushroom, there's mushroom that will kill you. And I'm talking about like 100% do you in. Then there's mushrooms that will make you hallucinate. You probably want the ones that make you hallucinate. You got to be really careful what you're putting in your body because there's some of them that'll make you hallucinate, then they'll kill you. So if if you what's happening, Tom? Good to see you. So do your research, go to the bookstore, get books on how to identify mushrooms. If you're going to go forage, know what you're grabbing. Be careful. It's so nice to have so many regulars. Yeah, like last year, I found a whole bunch of golden oyster mushrooms, and man, those are good. Um, those some golden oyster mushrooms get to be like 3, 4, 5 pounds per mushroom, and a lot of no, those are just food mushrooms. Yeah, you can go out like twice a year. Like spring, you can go on a spring mushroom hunt. You can get like beefsteak mushrooms or morels, and then you can go like midsummer, not so much, but then usually the fall mushroom hunt is good. You can find hen of the woods or chick of the woods and stuff like that. And if you put them up right, you could eat good all winter long. Moral high grounds. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, morels are my favorite. One guy we used to go up north, morel mushroom hunting with, he would just pick them, look inside them because they're hollow. He'd look inside them, make sure there was no bugs in them, and that stupid dude would eat them right there in the woods. It's like, why don't you just wait, wash them all out, and eat them with a steak or something like that? Shiitake. There was some people I had met, and they were starting to do like a little mushroom farm on their property, and they had hardwood logs, and they were actually getting spores and actually laying out gardens for like shiitake mushroom and stuff like that. I didn't know how I remember them basically laying the foundation for it, but I don't know if they ever like made it take off here in Michigan. But that was always one of those things I think about often. Like, I hope that worked out for them because people pay good money. They'll pay good money for morel mushroom, nonetheless, like fresh shiitake and stuff like that. These great big base basketball sized mushrooms that grow on our lawn. It sounds like a puffball, old Mac. Is it white? Kind of a funny white in color. And then if they're left to go too long, if you knock one, it'll let this green fog out. Because if it's a puffball, that was my grandpa's favorite mushroom. If you find a puffball in its infancy, yes, white. Yeah, yeah, that's a puffball. My If you accidentally bump it and the green fog comes out of it, the green spores come out of it, it's too far gone for eating. But if you find a puffball when it's really young, it's that was one of my grandpa's favorite mushrooms to eat. That's edible when it's in its infancy. I remember going out on state land. We were going mushroom hunting, and I'd get beefsteak mushrooms the size of my fist. Those eat good. Only mushroom hunt inside Kroger. I don't think I've ever been in a Kroger. I went into a, where were we when we were in New York? Price Chopper. That's where we were. We went to a Price Chopper. And I go buy some stuff. First and only time I'd ever been at a Price Chopper. And the lady's like, "Do you have the Super Saver card or whatever?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." And she tries handing me all of this paperwork to sign up for the Super Saver card. And I said, "Ma'am, I'm from Michigan and this is my first time here." She's like, "Oh," she takes it all back from me. And then she just used her sample Super Saver card and I saved like $2 on whatever I was buying. You do not like mushrooms? Good. More for me. Muscota Morel Mushroom Festival every year makes everything morel related, food and drink. Good evening, Dougster and all. Dr. Go, what's happening? There's a little smokehouse that I like to frequent, and they get, it's seasonal, but they'll get morel cheese. It's cheese with morel mushroom in it, and oh my goodness, is that stuff so good? It's also kind of expensive, but it is really good. And then there's another place up north of us that's famous for jerky, and they they'll do a morel and Swiss summer sausage that is out of this world. Muscoda, Wisconsin. Ah, they made a movie about picking mushrooms in a cow field called Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Ho, 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 ho. I got the Thriftway card up here, and I was down in Florida visiting Ma when we went to the Winn-Dixie, and the Thriftway card worked there. Well, holy crap. So it's okay to have standards, but you'll evening all. Nice. Gen 3 Hemi tonight and steering. Hopefully the headers and the steering shaft play nicely together. Yeah, I hope you're feeling a lot better there, Max. You weren't sounding so hot on your live. And Mrs. Speck too. I had a friend pay me $40 for a albino morel mushroom I had in my yard. One of my lady's coworkers, he doesn't even like eating mushrooms, but he just like, I think he's one of those people that just likes a challenge. And he just started walking out on his property and going mushroom hunting. That guy brought, it was half done for, like it was already past its prime, but it was the biggest morel mushroom I'd ever seen, and it was like elbow to fingertip tall. You could have, if it was structurally able to, you could have almost put it on like a glove. It was the biggest mushroom I'd ever seen. And he had a picture of it with his hand laid next to it for size. I was just like, I am still the same. We'll feel better soon. I'm glad you're going to be seeing the doc in the morning. You always end up mowing them. Well, for the love of Mike, Dutch, you could pick those and wash them up and sell them. People pay good money for those. The mushroom fit like a glove. The carrying advice from Mrs. Speck. That's right. He'll be fine and fine as a fiddle in no time flat. And they're trying to explode under the blade action. The morale doesn't fit. You've been sick for 10 days? Good Lord. It's lingering for sure. It's so cold the trees are exploding. It's so cold here my pops are exploding. I had to move them all down to the basement where it's warm because I think I probably have at least 10 that are no good now. I treated my lawnmower like a brush hog. Went over a lot of stuff probably shouldn't have. So cold here, bladders are exploding. Whoa. The maple tree had explosive diarrhea. Well, in the winter, all of the tree sap goes all the way down into the root ball of the tree. That's how it hibernates. That's why in the spring, when guys are tapping the trees, especially all the maples, and it's all maples, hard maples, soft maples, sugar maples, silver maples, all maples, you can get the sap off of to make syrup. But that's why you're going for the warm days and the cold, frosty nights, is because the trees are waking up and they start the sap flow. And by the time, once the sap starts to flow too long and it gets bitter, it's no longer good for maple syrup. But as long as it's clear as water, that stuff's good. And you can take your maple syrup and cook it and cook it and cook it, and then you take the water content out of it. And if you keep cooking it, it'll harden up and turn into candy. And maple candy is awesome. We had trees at the farm that they'd be so hard to. Oh, speaking of trees, here's the lumberjack Lars. He was cutting. He was cutting up some fallen timber. I'm finer than frog hair, Lars. Good to see ya. Wife closed the back porch last night. Wind out of the northeast froze the pipes going upstairs. I'm still working on getting it unfrozen. I've had the house up to 70. I'll never financially recover. Cocaine is a rich man's drug. It sure is. Lars and JB dealing with bad tree damage. Yeah, yeah. Trees going down suck. Cocaine makes rich men crazy too. This is for sure. Was a guy that I used to hang around with. He hung in the same group, and there were some days when he'd be hanging out with us, and they always had like 5 or 6 good-looking ladies with him, and he just kind of roll around with his little entourage, right? And he always drank this expensive brand of beer, and then other times he'd be hanging out with the group, and the ladies wouldn't be with him. He'd be in a really crappy mood, and he'd be drinking like Coors, or he'd be drinking like Bush beer in the big 24-ounce cans. And I never put it together. And one day us guys were talking, and I said, "Man, I'm kind of jealous of so and so." This is a long time ago too. "I'm jealous of so and so." And they're like, "Why is that?" I'm like, "You see the babes he's hanging out with?" "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, that's because he's got coke." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah. Why do you think those ladies are around? He's got a pocket full of cocaine." Then it started to make sense, because they'd all take off for a minute. They probably would go and then come back. But yeah, when he was broke and didn't have cocaine, the ladies weren't around. And then that made sense, because he was drinking cheap beer too. And he was always in a crappy mood. I wonder why. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to pour myself some more dihydrogen monoxide. Not peeing. It's just a jug of water. Sounds like a prostate problem. Yeah. Do you need me to mute it next time, Max? Because I will. The only thing I dislike about this water jug is if you don't if you pour Lone Wrench, what's happening? If you pour it too fast. Slow jug Doug? No, no, no. It's like the old surf rock band, Doug and the Slugs. Trying to stay warm for sure. It's 5 degrees or colder here in the great state of Michigan. See, I like a good hot pepper. I just don't like what it does when the pepper is on the exit route. 15 degrees in West Virginia. Last I checked, it was 5 degrees here. What is it now? It's 4. Oh, that insulated container is so nice. Throws a little bit of ice in the bottom of it, and the water gets nice and cold. Jug a lug. Makes you want to holler, hidey ho. Burns the tummy, don't you know? Jug a lug, jug a lug. Call the exit route, not an entrance. Yeah. All right. Main Street Mopar. What's happening, Ken? Welcome, welcome, welcome. One thing I've noticed is how like hot sauces are not created equal. You get some stuff that's too vinegary, or it has a funny heat to it, or no heat at all. It's just vinegary. And then other times, I like the stuff that's got heat to it, but real flavor. And yeah, the hotter the better, but as long as it has flavor too, because there's stuff that's just absolutely stinking hot, but does not bring anything to the table in the flavor department. So it's got to have flavor. Some of the Mexican folks that I work with, their salsas that they make and bring to work, whew, that stuff's tremendous. Five degrees. Yep. Yep. Nice and cold. I'm supposed to get like up to like 11 inches of snow here coming up. So, oh boy, on top of all the other snow we've got. Oh, those one chip challenge things taste like garbage. Exactly. All they are is hot and not any. Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to torture myself, yeah, 4 degrees in Cincinnati. Well, it was Friday night or Saturday. It was negative 14 at night. Yeah, it's definitely getting cold enough. And it's being so cold, I haven't hardly seen anybody out ice fishing. Then again, we finally got the weather to where we're starting making some fishable, safe fishable ice. Y'all need to try the little nitro gummy bear. It is 8 above, a heat wave, heat wave. Sounds weird, but ever since I injured my neck, I cannot eat anything spicy. Heck, even ketchup burns my tongue. I don't care for ketchup. I lost my taste for ketchup for the most part. Like if I get a hamburger from like Burger King or whatever, it has ketchup on it, it's fine. But trust me on this one, you won't see me putting ketchup on much of anything. Every so often, I'll put some ketchup on my scrambled eggs, but that's about it. I don't eat a lot of ketchup. Ice brought down a lot of trees in my area, says Ken. Trees on the power lines in the woods around my house probably won't have power till next week. Yeah. Try the ghost pepper and Carolina Reaper almonds. We're a balmy 15 degrees. Woohoo! Yeah, it's definitely a good idea to have um, a generator of some sort. Friend of mine brought me as a gift some smoked almonds, and ew, man, were those tasty! The Transcam system. Over the summer, we had a bunch of trees. There's a big main power line that goes across the street, and we had um, trees fall down. There was like 3 or 4 trees that went down and took out the power. Uh, every time. And man, there's a whole bunch of trees still down that I could probably go over there and get probably a pickup load of wood from across the street if I wanted to put in the sweat equity. All I would do is just use it for like campfires and stuff. Not like I'm gonna heat my home with it. Smoked broiled salmon. Yeah, there's a smokehouse by us, by me, and they're famous for their smoked salmon. Their slogan is the best you've ever had, and it is really good. Everyone who's like smoked fish and stuff like that, I bring there, and I have yet to have somebody like, "Oh, this is terrible. Don't bring me here again." They're like, "Can we go get smoked fish?" It's like, "Yeah, yeah, we'll get there." We don't get crap. We didn't get crap here. Mostly rain and some snow flurries today. Most of it gone now, but the temp has gotten to about 4 degrees. People went out and bought all the generators in my area and trying to sell them for $1,800 a piece. Yeah, yeah. Those, those some people, the opportunistic ones. Always someone trying to ding someone. Well, we had fishable ice. There's a lake real close to me. We had fishable ice, then we had a warm snap, and then it got sharply cold again, and we got the uh, ice back, and then we had another warm snap, and then until this past cold snap that we're before all this began, the whole south side of the lake was open water. It was weird. You drive by the south side of the lake, and then it's ice, 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 and then it's just like this. Looks like God just cut a whole straight edge, and it was just open water from there. But I notice now it's um getting froze up. Whole house generator, man. Some of them Generac units are pretty cool. The ones that you can run on natural gas or propane, the whole house ones, those things are cool. Yep, come May, those generators will be on Marketplace for $200 exactly. Yes, yes, Lawrence is right. Yeah, that monopolistic, taking advantage of people in a they're trying to say that it's supply and demand. Well, come on, let's be real. Couldn't agree with you more, Tom. Couldn't agree with you more. Last week of January is always the coldest. I was on call for Super Bowl usually. Supply and demand is real, yes, but there's one thing of supply and demand, and then there's another thing where you're just taking a bad situation and then charging the living crap out of someone, especially when you're a business. I can see the average guy doing that, but most like better business bureaus and stuff like that. Number six kid, holy crap. I always thought about keeping like a spare tire in my vehicle or a spare trailer hub on my trailer because in the summertime somebody will have their boat out and they'll shred a tire on the highway. And then, you know, part of me's like, hey, you need a tire, need a hub. Oh yeah, I need that. And of course you could charge them whatever you wanted, but that's I was raised better than that. The Brady kids. Marcia, Marcia, Marcia. Can't stay on here for long. I'm changing my phone Oh, charging my phone in my truck and trying to go to work in the morning. They called us today and asked if we would come in. Well, Ken, fight the good fight, my friend, and I hope that you get power at your place real soon. My friend's like a sister to me, so all her kids call me auntie. That's nice. My wife was one of 9. One of none. She's an only child, I take it. My mom is the second oldest of 6. Yeah. Good luck. Stay warm, Ken. What's my favorite color? Greens and blues. Really particular to blue. Well, JB and Lars are got hit by the same ice storm. Yeah. Wow, I'm one of 6, and Tom's wife is one of 7. Who's winning Super Bowl? Detroit Lions! Oh, wait a minute. No. Braden's Packers! Oh, wait. No. Who's winning the Super Bowl? A football team is going to win the Super Bowl. The place I work at, surprisingly enough, we don't have a lot of people that call in on with Super Bowl flu on Monday after Tennessee, like Gaylord did. Gaylord, Michigan. Yep. Gonna be an auntie again. Auntie Faith, Auntie Faith. Certainly not the Bungles. Wife is one of 5. The biggest family I ever heard of that wasn't a blended family was was a guy that I used to work with. He was the baby of 17 kids. Unbelievable. It was like 10 boys or 11 boys. Oh, Buff is doing his taxes. All right. I should get mine started now because W-2s came out. Because I spoil my niece and nephew. That's nice. Who's in the Super Bowl? I think it's Seattle Seahawks and it's New England Patriots. So meh and meh. Family of 13 kids on my street when I was a kid. Wow. Yeah. Just blew my mind when my friend was telling me that he was the youngest of 17 kids. And what's even funnier is that he told me that when his older sister was born, the one right before him, they decided that 16 was enough. And then whoops, here he comes. We have a son now. Okay. Well, see, that family, there used to be a thing in a large farming community, like where I'm from, a lot of times, the more boys that you have, Tanner, what's happening? Um, the more boys that you have, the bigger the farm is. And my friend was telling me how big their farm was because he's like the 11th boy. So there was like 10, he had 10 older brothers plus sisters too, like 5 sisters, 17 different fathers, same mom, same dad. This is my first year with a 1099 farm from YouTube. Oh, wow. Nice. So, Buff, did you make millions of dollars this year? Don't tell me. I'll just assume that you did. Yes. Raking in the millions. Tim, indecisive Tim, welcome, my friend. I'm in the mix, just listening in. Hi, Dougster and all. Good. Welcome, Tim. They do that here too. Kids are expected to take care of the parents. The more kids they have, the better chance they'll be taken care of. They can't all be losers. This is true. I come in and instantly see stuff about condoms. What a way to start this. I won't be watching the Super Bowl. Fox Dude, what's happening? I mean, I might watch a little bit of the Super Bowl, but I won't be like watching every waking minute of it. I don't even watch it for the commercials. I won't be hungover going to work on Monday. One place I worked at, like 3/4 of the shop would be gone on Super Bowl Sunday or Monday. The Monday after, they'd all be all just in terrible shape. Super Bowl flu. Never made any sense why you would get all messed up on Super Bowl Sunday and then expect to sack out and then go to work on Monday. Friend of mine's dad used to make homemade wine. Now this isn't Super Bowl related, but it is related to drinking and guys being hungover. And he'd make wine out of elderberry, and that elderberry wine, it's tasty, but it packs a serious punch, and it has a lot of sugar in it, so it actually gives you quite the nasty hangover, and it will stain your lips. So my friend brings a gallon of this to a poker party. They work second shift on Friday night after work. He brings a gallon jug of this in an old earthen jug to a poker party after work. And he sets it out and he tells the guys it's tasty and it's smooth. Be careful, it packs a serious punch. And so these guys are starting to get more and more and more drunk, and they keep passing the jug, and they got it tilted up on their arm, like you see guys do in the movies, in the old West movies. So these guys are all getting hammered beyond hammered. So that was on Friday night. The following Monday, they called into work. They called into work on Tuesday, and they called into work, then the office got a hold of them and told them if they didn't show their butts up to work on Wednesday, they didn't have a job. So all of these guys that were at that poker party drinking that stuff, their lips were stained purple, and all of them were just miserable hungover from drinking all that stuff. And they're cussing out the guy who made the wine. You son of a grown. And he's like, hey, I warned you guys, you guys made your own grave on that one. Dug your own grave on that one. Yeah. Then their lips were stained purple for like a week. Reeks of elderberries. Whoa, we got Big Block Esteban here. Hi, Steven. Good to see ya. I was watching some of your video today when you were working on candy cane. Finally got rid of my partner that I hated. Now my days are all over the place. Why they call it explosive diarrhea? Ooh, good real moonshine is smooth going down, not like the crap they sell in the stores. Yeah, so if it's cut right, it is. Anytime I make a mistake, pushing it too far. So 2 days a week, both Wednesdays. Today and Wednesday this week. They sell moonshine in the stores. Times have changed. Oh, you and me both, Stephen. It's currently like 4 degrees here in Michigan, and I got one of those 8 kilowatt diesel heaters. I twisted that thing up and let her eat for like 2.5 hours, and it didn't make a lick of difference in my garage. But my garage is actually pretty big. It's a two-stall garage that's deep, and I'd forgotten that basically I got to get everything in the shop warmed up. So mason jars are for food. Well, corn squeezins. 10 degrees here at my house. Dang, and that's in Arkansas, isn't it, Stephen? What's your favorite food? Can't go wrong with a good steak. Good porterhouse. Yeah. Yep. Arkansas. That's right, because you got the vanity plate of suey on the back of candy cane. -1 and going down. We won't hate you. We'll just be envious of you, Max. Favorite food is barbecue chicken. Nice. Ah, I like the stillness of winter, the quietness of it. When it's just chilly, not flipping cold. Go out in the woods and where it's quiet and still, and I like that. I think I put that vanity plate on the bumper around 1998. Wow, that was a couple years back. Yeah, he still gets lake effect up there. Oh yeah, Dean's not cold at all. He's in his summer season. This is convertible and shorts weather for New Zealanders. Yeah, isn't it weird that in Dean's part of the world, Christmas time is the warm part of the year? 10 pounds of wings right now. Nice. Yeah, but Tim's got quite the smoking setup. I think he's got 2 or 3 smokers that he's running, but then again, 10 pounds of wings. Dino Reno the Kiwi. Yeah, the homemade product. Well, you got to be careful when you're making your homemade product because you've got what's called the heads and the tails and the hearts. And then the heads and the tails is the beginning of the shined run. It has methanol in it, and you don't want that. That'll hurt you. So you you do your moonshine run, then you get the heads off, then you get into the hearts, which is the heart of the mix, and that's your whiskey. And then at the bottom of the run, you get back into the methanol again. And then usually those guys will take that and then they'll burn it back into their fire to get more heat. And they'll just start to rerun it. Jesus was actually born in July anyway. I would love it to be 57 degrees, fair and height. Santa Claus in a tank top. Picked up a Raptor 3.5 HO engine. Gonna match it with a the 10-speed automatic. My friend was driving one of those 10 speeds. He's a big Ford guy. He was driving one of those 10 speeds, and the first thing that he noticed is how much it's always hunting for a gear. It's always upshifting and downshifting. It doesn't know what gear that it wants to be in. Pouring myself something to drink. A little cold dihydrogen monoxide. Again with the water. I believe it's legal to make 6 gallons per year for personal use. It's just illegal to sell it. I have never actually seen anything concrete on that Lone Wrench other than, stuff I've heard through other people. So the 16 F4 Ford 450 ambulance with the diesel, they have a 10-speed. Not too bad in those things. I hate hunting transmission. My Corolla's like that. The rest of my vehicles are manuals. What convenience store would you like to go to? What ethnicity do you want to check out? Try Korean 7-Eleven or Japanese 7-Eleven. Oh, yeah. Well, I heard that 7-Eleven is actually trying to make American stores be more like the Japanese 7-Elevens. So we'll see how that goes with a lot more food oriented and stuff like that. There used to be, when I was a kid, there used to be 7-Elevens all over the place up in the greater Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo area, and they've all but pulled out. You can't. It's a rarity when you find a 7-Eleven. And 7-Eleven, their hours is why they call it 7-Eleven. They are open at 7 a.m. and open till 11 p.m. 7-Eleven. A guy I used to hang with, he actually worked night shift at a 7-Eleven, and he always called it Slevin. What's up, Cheetos? What planes are we flying today, Cheetos? About one more week, and I'll be sharing all the changes I'm making to 3 and my son's race trucks. Cool. Yep, 36, 24, 36. Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap by AC/DC. Actually, it's 360, 24, 360. I lead a life of crime. But you're right. It's a lady's measurements. Nothing much, but the flight was great. Cool. All Or what about the other famous phone number, 8675309? Ask for Jenny. Friend of mine in the fall makes choice coin. Denver is a big airport. I've heard. I've never been out there. Please come to Denver with the snowfall. Always thought vintage air-cooled two-stroke dirt bikes. Yeah. I love the old air-cooled two-stroke. Oh, Coperino, what's happening, my friend? Some of the great two-stroke bikes out there, like the Yamaha RD350s, any of that series of two-stroke twin. The RD350s are good. Of course, the CRJ200 or 2K, just small. JB, I have no internet, so everything lags. Hope everything's warm and safe. You too, JB. I hope things are looking up for you, my guy. What else in the two-stroke department? Oh, the Suzuki GT750s, liquid cooled, two-stroke, 750 road bike. Of course, the Kawasaki triples, the all those different displacements. They made it from like 250 cc's all the way up to 750 cc's. Like 1970, you could order a Kawasaki Mach 3 and 750 triple, and then you got the entry level bike. If you had more money, you could buy the Demco performance parts for it, which was like a better front swing arm, better or front suspension, better rear swing arm, high compression heads, so on and so forth. And you could get that bike souped up to like 120 horsepower, which is absolutely scary because those bikes in just stock trim will carry the front tire up to third gear and gently set the front tire down. So I can only imagine that thing. I can only imagine that thing cranking off 120 horsepower. That thing was a death machine. Because those big triples, the frame wasn't really meant for that big of an engine. The 350 they said was about the perfect one because that was the perfect balance between the power level and the frame, where it actually everything was good. Because the big ones, you'd gas them and the frames would twist as you get into them. They were scary though. Another tree fell and the whole meter off the house. Oh, that's so bad. Still want to see if I'll be able to kick some bikes again. I have to stick with the alternative if I can. Yeah, electric start. That sucks bad. Well, we had problem. A tree had fallen across the road, and then it stressed because there's a leg that comes from across the street over, and it feeds my house, my neighbor's house, and then there's a neighbor in behind us. And when the power line went down, it fell down, but the power was still hooked up. So the fire department is on either side of the down trees. That's right here in front of my house. And some guy who was drunk coming home from the bar, and he pulls up to where the tree is, and the fire department's there, and they're like, you can't go across. He wants to drive through my yard to get to the other side. And they're like, you can't because the power line. He goes, it's fine. And this guy is he's drunk. They can smell it on him. He's drunk and he's telling the fire department guys that he's gonna teach these guys a lesson. So finally he jumps out of his Jeep and he runs up to this guy who is part of the fire department. This guy is like 6.5 foot tall, and the guy doesn't even come up to here on him. And so the guy runs over and picks a fight with another fireman that's more his size, then finally jumps in his Jeep and then pulls out into my yard and hits the power line, which completely knocks out the power. Then the guy turns around and runs in the Jeep. And of course, these are guys on the fire department with radios and stuff, and they say it's a this color vehicle, your make, model, this is the license plate, he's headed this way. He evaded them for 3 whole minutes before they had him pulled over. And yeah, good times. I'll tell you what, the one Lady Dougster was home one day when one of the branches fell off the tree, and she got to see the main line get separated, and she said even during the day that was quite the bright fireworks show. And then one night a limb had broken and I was in bed. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and you should have seen the sparks. That thing flew off. I could see all the way across my backyard. Hubie, good to see ya. Hi, buddy. How are things out west? Or did you guys finally make it up to your vacation property? I think you did. You finally made it up north to, like, what was it, Montana? I think it was Montana. Anyways, good to see you, Hubie. Yeah, let's send some power JB's way. It's so nice having such a great group of people always stopping in and seeing some familiar faces. Well, familiar names, but you know what I mean. Yeah. If you guys want to see some cool vintage dragsters, Hubie's Garage for sure. He's got some mid-50s Chevys that are just out of this world. He's got cool stuff. And Hubie's an old first responder himself, so I've been hearing about Hubie for months now. I've never seen anything from him until here just right now. Yeah, Tanner, Hubie's the man. Hey, Mark. Was it Montana? Yeah, it was Montana. Lone Wrench, good seeing you. Thanks for stopping. Take care. Sleep well, my friend. Walked down the road. Saw I had a donkey. And 3 legs. Donkey wonky. Nice. Oh, Steven, Hubie, Tanner, check out my license plate collection. That's here behind me. Up here, these ones all here on this side are all porcelain on steel. And the 1910 one on the top, 1910, 1911, 1912. Green on white, 1913. And then 1914. Well, the 1910 is the first state-issued license plate for the state of Michigan. Before then, they were actually issued numbers, and you had to get a number plate for your car. But I got them all the way from 1910 to 1919. And then this one right here, that is a manufacturer plate because it's ending in M. M is for manufacturer. So one of the auto industries was using that in 1917. Never seen those kind of plates? You'd be surprised how heavy a porcelain on steel plate is. These ones have that medallion is made of pewter and it's riveted to the plate. State of Michigan seal. That's the same thing you can see right there. That's the state of Michigan seal also. Fish and Game plans to build a public river access across the parking lot of my property line. That's not cool. Humpty Dumpty. So, Braden, do you want to know what Humpty Dumpty really is? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Humpty Dumpty was a cannon. Now it makes sense. I don't know why they decided to use the egg thing, but Humpty Dumpty was a cannon, a big, heavy iron cannon, and it was positioned on a wall as a defense position, and it fell off the wall, and they couldn't put it back into place and use it again. Yes, I am very sorry about your wife, Hubie. The egg is so kids can understand, right? But it still doesn't make any. Yeah, I guess so kids can understand. Humpty Dumpty fed up and went to the public hospital where they couldn't put them back together again. Or are we going back to the early 90s and talking about the Humpty dance? My name is Humpty. I like my mashed potatoes lumpy. Come on, do the Humpty Hump. Come on to do the Humpty Hump. Go, Humpty. They got rid of the Scottish flag again. It was a hot day. Somebody got a fried egg to eat. Yeah, I did see that Jamie still has his Bud the Spud in his truck. I noticed Bud the Spud's looking a little green too, but I think that's really cool. The look on Jamie's face was priceless. I come over and say hi and say I'm a fan of the channel, and I handed him a Wolverine Garage sticker and his potato, and he just looked at the potato and he didn't say anything, but just the look on his face said it all. Just like, what the heck? And I explained, it's in honor of the potato cam. It's ice and snow here. Just got back. Same here is supposed to be ice and snow all week. Oh yeah, we've been in this crap now for, well, a few weeks now. If we wear a bikini, E-I-E-I-O. Yeah, chicks in bikinis, that'd be all right. And if you pissed, you'll get Bud the Spud in your damn tailpipe. Nope, nope, nope. Even if I dislike you, I won't do that because I have why take it out on somebody's property? You know what I mean? That'd be like me being mad at you and then beating up your dog. Why? What the potatoes are for? The potato is in honor of the potato cam. So if you hear a engine with a lumpy cam, So a lot of times when they idle, they sound like they're saying potato, 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 potato. That's why I give out the potato. What was really funny was Kay from Mopar K Don't Play. She, I basically made her understand when I handed her a potato and I explained why. That was like one of those things that she'll never unhear again, which I think is just funny. Potatoes are better food than they are back pressure producers. Some old friends of mine, they were having a problem, some legal trouble, and with some people. And the day that they were supposed to go to court, they were the defendants, and they were. How many potatoes did you bring to the no name? I usually bring at least 2 bags of potatoes. Yeah, at least 2 bags of potatoes. And they had this full size, like mid 80, like an 88 Dodge van, but it was the big extended van, full size B van. And the day that they were supposed to drive to the courthouse to go to court for this problem, they lit up the van to go, and then boom, the muffler blew out, and they just drove it with a loud muffler to the court. Didn't think anything of it. Well, after the fact, when they went to have the exhaust replaced, they found a potato in their exhaust. You're fine, Faith. I didn't even see what you said, but I don't worry about it. I've got a thick skin. Oh yeah, it's nothing for me to bring 2 bags of potatoes down to no names. I'm handing them out to everyone. Heck, both uh, Damien from Mopar's Mustangs and Minivans and Blake from Bad Tree Productions, they ate their potato right in front of me, raw crunch. Typical Dodge guys, always overthinking it. Okay. Uh, Enjoy the backdrop. I'll be right back. I have to take care of something. Oh wait, no, never mind. I misread the time. Oh, you can hear that, Tim? That's my lady's alarm clock. I'll shut the door. Lady Dougster's getting up for work. Okay, she is up and around. Yeah, I'm gonna go turn the alarm off. Be right back. Oh, you got it. Good job, babe. Well, uh, she had taken care of it. I didn't even get halfway down the hall. Yeah, she works third shift. Has for a long time. I worked third shift for the longest time. I probably put 25 years in on nights. That's because I'm using the front facing camera, buff. And thank you, Hubie. Hubie, 1910, all the way through 1910, black on whites, 1911, yellow and black, 1912, 1913, white and red is 1914. Then it's a new plate series, 1915, 1916. That's porcelain on steel Dodge Brothers replica. 1917, 1918, 1919. And I have a lot more plates. I'll pull them out and put them up here in this blank spot. I got way more plates than what you see here. I wanted to deep fry the whole potato, but couldn't find anyone to deep fry it. Worked swing shift for the last 15 years, pretty much 4 on, 4 off. My last job, one of the variations of it, I worked the continental shift where you basically you work 15 days a month, where you work Monday, you work Tuesday, then you're off Wednesday, then you're off Thursday, and then it's your weekend on to work. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday you work, but then you're off Monday, you're off Tuesday, you work Thursday, you work Wednesday, you work Thursday, and then it's your weekend off. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday you're off, but it's always working 12s, and it's okay, but it get old after a while. I thought it was dodgy. Yeah, I've got Michigan license plates from 1910 all the way up to 19. Well, I'm missing a lot of the 30s because 30s license plates get hard to find because everyone thinks they're worth a big money because of street rods. So they think everyone wants Michigan plates for the street rods and they charge insubordinate prices. But I'm missing some of the 30s, but from like 1940 all the way up, I've got most of the Michigan plates. Plus oddities along the way. I'm on duty the entire time I'm on the camp. Of course, I live in the camp, so yeah, well, you're also the maintenance guy, too. Been off work for a year now. Don't really miss it at all. Just sitting to see if I'm able to go back. Right now, I'm not able of doing my... Are you still healing up from your knee surgery, Stephen? Because I felt so. I mean, it was great seeing you at No Name, but I felt bad for you just trying to industrial electrician for 27 years. Yeah. Hey man, Sparkies make good money. Did they make plates out of different materials during World War II? Great question, Old Mac. Plates came as pairs from the beginning. So all of these license plates are supposed to have pairs. Like this one here is a pair. The 63545, that's a pair. So from the beginning up until World War II, license plates came as pairs. And then during World War II, because of metal being scarce, they went to one plate. So in 1942, 1941, your license plate was a lone plate, and then they gave you if you had a half-year plate, because back then you could buy half-year license plates, and then it would say right on it, expires on this day. Well, if you renewed it to the full year, they gave you this big long plate that bolted into the license plate bolts at the bottom and just said 42 on it. And then 43 was just a little medallion that went on a license plate. And then they also had one for a half year. So they went from 2 plates, and then from World War II all the way through 1956 was a lone plate, and then in 1957, state of Michigan went back to 2 license plates, until 1979, and then up to 1979 to 1980 they switched the plates again, and then they went to the familiar blue and white plate, and they ran that for a long time. um so yeah, so in 1980 they went to a lone plate. I'll have to pull some of those out, start showing you my license plates. I got all sorts of neat stuff. If you like that, check out my map. It's probably 5 feet by 5 feet, or it's the greater Grand Rapids area. So um, that's actually pretty cool. There's a expressway, one of the expressway patches. It's called M6, and it connects one of the east expressways to the west expressway. And on this map that was made in 1994, M6 is just a red outline of the proposed expressway. Well, in 99, they actually opened it up for us to use. Parker? Holy crap. Hi, Parker. Long time no see. Hope your new job's working out for you. Man, haven't seen you in a long minute. Cool. The that plate up there, that's an Arizona 32 plate, and that is made of copper. The guy that I bought that from redid his roof on his house in Arizona, and that was under the shingles. They had used it to patch a soft spot in the roof. So when he tore the shingles off to replace the roof, he found that plate. And the numbers, like these plates here, the numbers stick out like normal license plates. That copper license plate, the numbers are inverted, they go inward. Yeah, I'll have to pull more. I'm going to pull more license plates out, and hang them up here. Or I might hang my Stevie Ray Vaughan. I might hang my Stevie Ray Vaughan poster up here too, and then put plates below it. I don't know, because I got my. Oh boy, you said a mouthful there, Mark. Because my Stevie Ray Vaughan poster is right there. The man himself. Embossed, debossed. Okay, they're debossed. I'm doing just great, Parker. Everything's going great. Um, just living the dream here in the Wolverine garage. That's good to hear. I'm jealous, Dan. I would have loved to have seen Stevie Ray. And I also, I have all sorts of neat collections. So on top of having license plates, and I've got a big old record collection. I've got vintage stereo equipment. I'm a big fan of Silverface Pioneer and Sansui. I have an almost all Sansui stereo. Well, it's a blended stereo out in the Wolverine garage. It's Sansui and Pioneer, and then I have a Pioneer stereo in the house. And then on top of that, I have a Richard Petty collection, and I also dabble in Coleman lanterns. And I happen to have one here next to my desk. This is it's a reproduction globe. And this is made of mica, M-I-C-A, which is a thinly sliced mineral. It's not plastic, even though it kind of feels like plastic. And this is so old, it doesn't have an internal pump. You actually have to take a pump and put it to it to pressurize the tank. And this is probably about a 100-year-old lantern made in the 1920s. See the little circle thing? That's its generator, and it's called a Q99 loop generator. And this one is made in USA, Wichita, Kansas. And I also have some down here that are Canadians, made in Toronto. And most of my lanterns, like I've got like 50 something lanterns, most of them run and drive. Like I'm probably like 80% runnable. And I'm seeking out the parts to make the other ones run. I got all sorts of neat stuff. Seth Rollins. My dad is coming to No Name with me this year. I bet you and him are going to have a lot of fun talking about vintage stuff. Yeah, I got all sorts of eclectic taste. Sure, I love talking about vintage stuff. Yeah, Therium. Yeah, the older I do know that some of the old mantles that I have actually will show up on a Geiger counter. So yeah, they have some rather radioactive stuff. So when you burn in mantles on a Coleman lantern, hold your breath. Don't be breathing in that smoke, kids. That's a safety message from the Dougster. Yeah, what I love about the Coleman stuff is it's simple. It's just a simple machine. Who's winning the Super Bowl? A football team, Parker. A football team. Actually, I just want to see the Seahawks win so the Patriots don't. Show some of your other stereos and radios that you have. Where the stereo is in the garage is all the way over on the other side of the garage, and the signal gods will become upset and will get booted off the stream. So I could probably show you the one in the living room. I put one in the detector and it was showing 1,700 counts per minute. Holy crap. Isn't that bad? Go Pats. Oh, the cat's back. The catster. APG. Oh, I also collect Hastings piston ring stuff and K-Site products. You want up here again? Where you at, buddy? He's under my chair. Oh, he's in my office. Imply communism. Oh, and I also have an old school. I still have my Nintendo from when I was a little kid, and I got over the years all sorts of accessories and games and whatnot. So usually whatever I'm interested in, 17,000 counts per minute. It's alpha, so your skin will stop it, but you don't want it inside you. Understood. Yeah, I know. I know enough to be dangerous, I guess. I've been looking for a Marantz tuner for the garage. I need to find a good one to fill up a 24 by 60 shop. Marantz is good stuff. So you have good taste, Hubie. Um, you know, even if you found a Marantz that's only like 40 by 40 watts, that's still enough. You can totally rock the shop. Yeah, Marantz is good stuff. When I was working my last job, I was working 84 hours a week, and I was making really good money, but I had no life. And I had started to set my sights on Macintosh stereo equipment, which is like each piece of stereo equipment starts at $1,000. And it's made in the USA stuff. That's really high end audiophile stuff. And yeah, that's where I was going to start headed. Was I wanted a Macintosh stereo, but I finally lucked out and got the job that I have now, and I make less money and I'm a lot happier. Yeah, working 84 hours a week was horrible. The only days off was holidays and vacation. Otherwise, working. Would you like Genesis, Nintendo DS, or Game Boy, or PSP? Okay, I have a really nice, as a matter of fact, I'm looking at it. I have a really nice Game Boy, but it's on the other side of the office. I have a really nice Game Boy, original Game Boy. I was thinking 50 watts per channel or better. My old Kenwood tuner disappeared after two moves. Oh, that's terrible. 50 watts per channel. That'd be nice. Kenwood stuff was pretty good too back then. My friend's dad has a really nice old Silverface Kenwood stereo. 50 watts per channel. God, I wish you lived closer to me, Hubie. I could probably find you the receiver you want, but you ain't gonna want me to pay to ship it to you. We've got a great stereo shop around here. It's called the Corner Record Shop, and they have it's all in one. It's a record store. They've got vintage stereo equipment for sale, and they do repair work and all sorts of great stuff. And I like going there because you can actually go. They have a whole shelf in one hallway, and they've got stereos and turntables and speakers all set up, ready to rip. So you could just go through, select the vinyl that you want, take it over, go over, pick a stereo, flip it on, and throw a needle in the vinyl and listen to it. And it's good. Cousin Mike, what's happening? Boy, everyone's coming to say hi tonight. I like it. Like your grandma Opal the scanner. That was 10 years ago. Well, I hope you do find it, Hubie. And yeah, like I said, if you lived closer, I could probably find exactly what you're looking for, because there's all sorts of audio files around here. 82 Kenwood component stereo blew out the left side final again for the last time about 2 years ago. Had it fixed 3 times. Guy told me the part was obsolete. Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems. Yeah, Japanese coin slot machine. Wish I remembered the model number. Yeah, probably. Is Michigan issuing red, white, and blue license plates again? No. The license plates that they're issuing right now are college themed because Michigan State is dark green and white, and then University of Michigan, my beloved University of Michigan, is maize and blue, which is dark blue and like a bright yellow. Um, so those are the plates that they're currently issuing, but they haven't done a red white. They did a patriotic plate, a white field with just an American flag on it. But the red, white, and blue plates that you're talking about, they haven't done those since the like 1976. Maize, that's right. Go blue, that's right. That's right. Hail to the victors valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. Hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West. Not really big on, oh, as a matter of fact, Parker, this one's for you. It's a little Wolverine. See his little hat? Wolverines. The batteries are corroded inside the thing. You used to be able to squeeze his foot here and it would play the University of Michigan fight song. So, yep. Ain't he cute? Yep. He deserves to stay on my desk. Yeah, I found him years ago. I'm like, you know what? He's coming home with me. I have a bicentennial plate on the back of my 76 Ford Gran Torino, and it was there until I actually get the car running and driving. A wolf named Irene. And if it had one leg, would it be Irene? Go Badgers. That's right. UW. Friend of mine's dad graduated from UWGB, which is University of Wisconsin Green Bay. I expected car companies to do cars for the 250B day like they did in 1976. Lots of change. Patriotism is not cool. Yeah. 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 Hey, if you're not a patriot, that's no problem. I can help you pack. If you don't love our country, that's fine. I'll help you pack. GTFO, man. That's right. Hit the nail on the head right there. Just go over to Minnesota. Why? The Golden Gophers? When we were going through Minnesota when we went out west, Montana, we drove past one of the University of Minnesota campuses. That was actually pretty cool. It was a big campus. See it right from the highway. And as a matter of fact, the Wisconsin Minnesota line by the Dells, man, is that beautiful country, folks. Beautiful country. Yeah, going out to Going out to Montana was pretty cool. Uh, yeah, careful, riots all over. Tim, take care. Good seeing you. Glad you hung out with us, as always. Hopefully, I'll be able to bug you again when you're out plowing snow on your lives. Might like my surround sound. TV's going through an 800-watt Bringer amp mixer out to 212 crate stage box speakers, all level 6 stuff starts falling off the shelf. Should start a daycare to get Mopar money. That's right. The one guy that showed me the power of Macintosh, um, the his Macintosh stereo was out of this world, and he's coming over, and his wife's it's in the living room, and like a lot of Macintosh's stereo speakers were like pieces that they look like pieces of furniture that disguised as speakers because they were just huge. One of the the ML series was a 4 foot by 4 foot square cabinet, hardwood cabinet. This guy, it looked really nice and ornate wood, but it was the stereo speakers, and he had a set of those. And he had some ML2Cs also, and so his living room had a whole bunch of glass figurines in there that were his wife's, and he was showing me a stereo, and he puts a record on, and it's awesome sounding. And I'm like, well, can you turn it up a little bit? And then he looks at his wife and he goes, he wants me to turn it up a little bit. She goes, don't break my figurines. And he cranked that thing up for just a second. Holy Jesus. I didn't realize a stereo could get that loud. A home stereo could get that loud. It was impressive. All tube power, had the amplifiers had big tubes. Like it didn't even have a lid to it. You just looked at it and there was the big tubes and stuff on it. That stuff was the real deal. Mr. T in 1982. Don't you love the United States of America? Then go to Grenada. I pity the fool. Pity the fool. How loud are your guys' speakers when you play music? Well, seeing that now I've got like 50% hearing damage, I don't crank up the tunes like I used to. I'd rather go for, instead of actual just loudness, what I like to go for is actually sound quality. I want I want to hear all of the elements of the music. So I'd rather, if I was to really go hardcore into a stereo again, I'd want something that has a lot of clarity. It doesn't have to be boom, 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 but I want good bass response and everything, but a well rounded sound, if that makes sense. Sound quality. Loud enough to hate the whole neighborhood. Me and my dad have one where the neighbors called the cops on us one night because we were playing music so loud there was no noise ordinance. My neighbors listen to good music. I make sure of that. That's right. I've got some good old school stuff too. I've got a reel to reel tape machine that I've been meaning to play with. Maybe hook that into the stereo and play with a little bit. My uncle gave me his Technics turntable. I have a Pioneer turntable for my home stereo, but I have also my uncle's Technics turntable that he had when I was a small fry, and it needs a belt. And I thought about, I've been kind of hemming and hawing, as dirty as my garage is. I thought about bringing out the Technics and using that so I could spin vinyl in the Wolverine garage, but I'm cutting and grinding and polishing and doing a lot of dirty work in there, and I don't know if I I try to keep the stereo covered up. I don't know if I want a turntable in the garage because of that reason. Oh yeah. I'm forbidden from playing no punks on K-Town music on our JBL. JBL speakers back in the day were some of the good stuff. Yes, with the red foam surrounds. The truck has a 30 watt per channel amp and four 4-inch pile speakers. Then sounds all right. That's good. Like my rock music from the early 2000s all the way up to now. I like the classic rock. I have a Panasonic quadraphonic 8-track player. It has a wood cabinet. Bose all day. Bose is good sounding stuff, Mark, but what I've noticed is with the Bose is it's all delicate stuff. Like you really shovel the coal on Bose and that doesn't hold up. I had a set of I had a set of Boston acoustic speakers I picked up for cheap at a garage sale, and I really enjoyed the sound of those. But at the time, I had a really I basically had like like Subaru speakers, and I had a Ferrari for a amplifier. I had a big flamethrower Pioneer. It was like 200 watts per channel. It was a big horse. It was a what was the model number? It was a Pioneer SX 1980, which is like one of the legendary amps, and I ended up trading it off for a complete stereo. The guy traded me like a 14-piece Pioneer stereo. Well, it's a stereo I have here in the house. He traded me a complete running, driving 14-piece Pioneer stereo for my receiver, for just a receiver. And they go for like $7,000 restored today, but I got a really nice stereo in trade. So don't piss us off. Where are the unexploded AC/DC records? Oh, yeah. I do love AC/DC. Jailbreak 74. JBL stuff is pretty good. Um, um, Believe it or not, a lot of people always poo-pooed the Radio Shack stuff, and but all Radio Shack stuff was just the last series of Pioneer. So whatever was brand new, that's the new series of Pioneer, and the old stuff, that's just what they're selling at Radio Shack when that was still a thing. Oh yeah, oh yeah, Marty Robinson. Yeah, it was because it was all Pioneer. Yeah, Marty Robbins. I like him because he was a guitar player, he was a singer, and a race car driver. He was a privateer. And Marty Robbins, it's Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Marty Robbins' paint scheme was always like purple and gold. And what I liked back then was he didn't have any sponsors. He just had Marty Robbins on the quarter panel. That's it. He did have a I forget what he was racing, but it was an open wheel car and it was called Devil Woman. And I think Devil Woman was it had the V8 that sat. I think Devil Woman, well, maybe it was a sprint car. I don't know. But I think Devil Woman was one of the cars that had the V8 that sat in between the driver's wheel and front and rear wheel, and the engine was tilted inward. Yeah, Marty drove some Fords. Well, he drove some Mopars too. Like Marty Robbins quite a bit. He drove a fuselage Charger for a bit. He was a cool dude. He was a cool dude. And seriously speaking, he would get out of the race car and then have to like be like flown to a venue so he could play. Like seriously, he was cutting it close sometimes because he was trying to race and perform at the same time. Devil woman, don't follow me. Yeah, I know one of his race cars was Devil Woman, and it was an open wheel car, but I'm not placing exactly uh, what style of car it is right off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up. He might have drove Fords and Mercuries at one time, but I know he drove like a 66, a mid 60s Mopar. Ma, always good to see you. Take care. Always glad to have you here. Yeah, that's one things that you don't see in today's racing is, at least in NASCAR, is any of the privateers. I mean, nobody has that kind of, it's gotten so gentrified that nobody can afford to be a privateer anymore, which would be cool if you could just to have all that money and just go out and do it up. Maybe it was Mopar's whole career. Buddy Arrington was big time Chrysler holdout and old Winston Cup. Yeah. Well, a lot of those guys ended up driving everything though. I mean, hell, look at Richard Petty. I mean, he drove Chevys, he drove Oldsmobiles, he drove Buicks, he drove Mopars, he drove Fords, he drove it all. You're gonna make Braden every Valentine basket, like every one, so he's gonna get all of them. Buddy was the only Mopar on the track at the end. I mean, Buddy Baker, number 6. That's one of my favorite Aero cars. Is the Buddy Baker number 6 behind the Plymouth Superbird, of course, of the King. But yeah, Buddy Baker's number 6 car was cool. It's kind of like a burgundy color, big old 6 on the door. Young Ma, get on Dougster Live. Marlo for you. Oh, that's funny. Oh, Buddy Arlington drove the old Bustleback Chrysler Imperials in the early 60s. Okay. So you're talking about the time when like Lee Petty um was still racing. Lee Petty is a lucky dude. He wiped out on one of the big ovals where he went on the high side of the track and actually jumped off of the top of the bank track and landed over on the other side. He's lucky to be alive. Lee Petty's part of the NASCAR founding fathers. Back when they were win on Sunday, sell on Monday. There, I had an ad I put up and I lost it. I can't find it, but it was from NASCAR's 50th anniversary, and it was all 4 of the Pettys together. It was Lee, Richard, Kyle, and Adam. They're all on a porch of a house, and they're just sitting around, and You can tell they're talking racing, and that was cool. Old Adam Petty, he was going to Fireball Robert, not Robinson, Roberts, Fireball Roberts. Yeah, he's another one of the founding fathers. Of course, you can't forget about old Junior Johnson. Old Junior's, he was pretty cool too. They had Junior Johnson, I think he was crew chief of it. They were running that X something, like X11 or something like that. It was a Chevy, and they had taken the car body apart, and it was a white he was it was a white car, and I think Buddy Baker's driver was the car was sponsored by Holly Farms Chicken, and they acid dipped the body of that big old Impala. I think it was an Impala, and they just acid dipped it to the nines to take as many pounds out of that body as they could. The worst, to switch gears to go from NASCAR, we'll go to Trans Am racing when Roger Penske was running the Sunoco Camaros in Trans Am with the late great Mark Donahue behind the wheel. They had acid dipped one of the Camaro bodies so badly that they got caught by accident. Um, One of the guys, either it was a clipboard or it was a helmet, and it was set on the roof of the Camaro, and the weight of the clipboard or the weight of the helmet was causing the roof to slowly sink in upon itself. Smokey's Chevelle, that never actually seen. I liked Rusty Wallace too. I always liked the look of the black and gold MGD car. Um, if I ever had a pool table, I want the pool table light to be the Rusty Wallace MGD car pool table light. Buck Baker, champion, drove 57 Chevy. Marvin Ponch, second in points, drove Ford. Speedy Thompson, third in points. Fireball Roberts, 8 wins, drove number 22 Ford. Dip this chicken, it'll be finger licking. But Smokey's 66 Chevelle, that's the cheating 13, black and gold, was Smokey's thing. And it never actually raced because that was at the era basically if Smokey built it, they didn't they were just blacklisting him to blacklist him because he was pushing the envelope so far. Dale Jarrett, yep. Davey Allison, Dick Trickle. The Allison, well, you got the Allison brothers, the Alabama gang, and both Bobby and Donnie Allison and Cale Yarbrough decided to duke it out on the snowmobile. Just went by at a high rate of speed, y'all. Holy crap. He was doing 100. Every bit of it. Wow. That was impressive. Not advisable on that road. He just let that thing hang out. Yeah, that was a snowmobile that just went past the house at a extreme rate of speed. Parker, it's good to see you. Take care, man. Stop back in on a Monday. Great to talk with you again. Parker and I used to work together. It's working on tolerances. Lights and sirens in 3, 2, 1. Well, that actually, the roar of that thing actually scared me because he was going by so fast. Impressive. Yeah, the one of the things that's still used today in NASCAR is the template where it's the shape of the car, and then they have the wooden template that, or whatever it is, that goes over it to show that the car is within tolerances. Smokey come up with that, and he used it on the 7/8 Chevelle. And then he built two race cars. One was his race car, and one was a street car that looked, it was painted streetcar colors, but was built just like his car. And he purposely parked it outside of an entrance of Daytona. And the all the officials are like, we don't think this is a regular car. He pulled out his template and showed how it fit the template. And he goes, well, why don't we take this outside of the parking lot and find a car and we can test it? And they walked out the door that they knew they'd walk out of. And then he's like, oh, there's one right here. What's the one that Smokey staged? And it was built just like his race car. And he puts the template over it. And oh, I guess it is a stock car. There was that poor guy in the Skittles rainbow car. Yeah, Jeff Gordon driving a flaming rainbow car. Yes. Well, because they pulled the gas tank out of the car, and they because they caught him because he had the basketball in there. Because you're only allowed to take on, you had to be empty, and then the officials would fuel you up. And we'll say 12 gallons was the limit. So they would have like 13 gallons in the tank, and then they would in the can, and then they'd fuel you, and then you better have a gallon of fuel left over. So he put a basketball inside of it and inflate it. So when they filled the tank, it was up to the 12-gallon limit or whatever it was. Then when they weren't looking, he'd go in and deflate the basketball and take it out and then top off the tank with like a gallon and some change more fuel. Well, on top of that, they found the tank with the basketball in it, and then they had the gas tank out of the car. This is at Daytona. And they said, well, we got you on 9 things, Smokey. And then Smokey got mad and he lit up the car and he said, you might as well make it 10 then. And he drove the car from Daytona Speedway to his shop, the best damn garage in town, on the fuel that it had. And he had like an 11-foot, like a 3-inch, 11-foot fuel line in it that held like, I don't know how many gallons of fuel. And the guy was just, I don't think it was a mile long, but yeah, yeah. It was a super duper long. It was like 11 feet or something like that. It was just ridiculous. It doubled back upon itself and stuff. But you know, Smokey was infamous. Like people said he was a cheater, and he's like, no, 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 I was not a cheater. He's like, if the rule book said that I could not do this, then I had to assume that I could. There was no rules against what he was doing. One of the ones I heard of was him fogging nitrous along with a car at speed and the air turbulating inside the cockpit of the car. They would have a hidden nitrous tank and they crack the valve and it would flow nitrous across the floor of the car and somehow it would get sucked up into the engine, and they were feeding the engine. It's just like, where do you come up with this stuff? Yeah, I just like the guy was he's one of my gearhead heroes. so he wouldn't unsafely run out of fuel. Oh, well, it's 2 hours and 25 minutes, and I gotta go to bed. So this is where Dan goes, no. So, oh man, I'm having a really good time, and as always, so thank you to everyone who's come and hung out with me tonight. Good time as always, and let's be like the Beach Boys and let's get together and do it again. So be here for next week, same Dougster time, same Dougster channel. Bye, everyone.